Mame fa na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Achafonya tifo mema obi bia akwaba eha eye PENDREAM TV. Bernard Odoteji adodo na friend no B.O.T di nsem bia tudwa. Na mepesa beje bre na waka me ho na ati nsem no enchiremu. Subscribe to channel. The wajenjiro comment section like na share jumadi ma afoforo ensa enkabi. Kame ho na ati nsem a Bernard Odoteji adodo na friend no B.O.T e de tudwa.
Mamini Bernard Odro Techi and Nkomo, a chartered economist on the B.O.T scandal. 11.1 million Ghana cedis only just meant for furniture. To Konya Abegugu na Avamua or take economy as one more Bank of Ghana, 11.1 million dollars. Operi Bernard Odro Techi B.O.T. Otianka Ebaha away at the Basim Peso.
Senior citizen major also now what to say.
Adum Yamuya, number say also Pomo.
Oh, divine selection I can I would say 68 years after independence, at least we have a peaceful democracy. At least the economy is taking a new turn. And once we have life, we have everything. I'll be a class captain of Until once we have life, we have to be appreciative to God. Say, oh, citizen now will be the one I was saying.
Sure. Can we say, looking at the 68 independence celebration and my course, where our company in a very modest way, so there be a young Sesika team that so I was to reflect, review, and reset. Now, just opposing this to the issue of the Bank of Ghana headquarters of Obusia. And looking at the amount involved, now we share a Tana Casano a situation now. Would you have said in your account be a ne? You per se a reset you by to how we want sell money between Yakono?
Citizen, I think that Plato or Socrates, one of them, I stand to be corrected. I said, an unexamined life is not worth living. The theme for the 68 independence caption reflect, review, reset. It was timely and it's still timely. It's eternal. It's a living word. What makes it a living word? 68 years after saying nana bi omunkwa omanhu odin to ho bimu ehro omunkwa bimu ko jail bimu ko esa bimu dedicate omajapade all in the name of say omo pese the shackles of colonial dictatorship na ye wo mu no man be de ne ho. They sacrifice their all to gain us this political independence. But I tell you one thing, citizen, political independence alone is meaningless. The fact that Yabeka say, oh man, we want to far who be, it's meaningless. Rather, what every country ought to gravitate towards is economic independence. Because oh, pints I want to about you, man, penny, DC, you minister, MP, or assembly member. Now at the end of the day, the Edisi Kabeba Oboton is being controlled from a process source. Your so-called political independence is more of an appendage and a nest to somebody's economic freedom. And it's also your team noah. When we reflect after 68 years, politically, are we independent? Yes. Economically, are we independent? No. Review. How do we then review the 68 years of trajectory? Yakwa, you're 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward. You will still at where you are. Reset. How do we then move in a trajectory? You reflecting review here, DNA said review and reflect here. Then we must turn on the shield of the country to a proper direction. Now, Global Info Analytics, now the most leading polling organization in Ghana. And the two that as of the year 2024, the direction of the country was just 22% right. As of now, the direction of the country is about 74% right.
I see.
What it simply means, just 3 months after people voting for change, the direction of the country is taking a positive direction. And in the research, the first thing, and I mean, commended His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. For the past 68 years, 6 months, be a parading crana, you call king. Yeah, a chunk of money is gone. And you don't seem to quantify in real value terms what we celebrated. Also, modesty is the way to go. Some said 20 million Ghana cedi artists can 200 billion. Na medem kula ko dina wiem obehana amanfo maache na bi mu twa na bi mu kolase na bi mu wu fam na yetwi so gu bi mu so de. Ma memfa saa de yin koma mpani aso na menya no popotwa me ye no popotwa no. I use only 1.5 million Ghana cedi. Almost 18.5 million Ghana cedi was saved. Citizen, I think I have another idea and opinion to the presidency. Number one, say, Mampani Gidi, yes, sir. Last year, 20 million pound na MPC advance no there. And the suggestion, I demand the Office of Government Machinery. Sir, 18.5 million now you save on 2025 for no. Young final legacy project. So that me B.O.T. some too many in the next year to come. Make me who say. Abra His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Beye Mampanino. Ono ni independence there, one said 20 million Ghana cedi. Or say just 1.5. Number 18.5 millionaire car, you know. Or the call crooked to a see school dime Makuma Komiansa. 80 Mampani so bet yemia. On translating the savings made from the independence celebration for the next 4 years into legacy project or program. And Tiafibia. Siko Besseguno on target about one region. Not polyclinic no besio, just compound no besio, share the Sadia, that's a citizen. Your best friend of the presidential or JDM legacy project on 6 March. Ebema Samampanibia take over the mantles of power. And then say what certain legacy project for 6 March, you know. The next government after president after him, whether the person will be NDC, CPP, GUM, or whatever, neighbor who said, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was setting a certain legacy to follow. And that legacy, they say, do independence, yes, you can't call that fair no mere days this March, you know, or say, you know, yeah, they call by which you say, be a Sunyana West, Domal Central, Zazugu Tatalino, or the Akosi Chase compounder. This is my suggestion to the president.
I say, but for this one, we're made to know. How to understand clearly, say sika anywhere, and government so any openly to let us know, say, going forward, ABA will still continue this way. Am I Hunisa?
Citizen Pacho, one who are buying be a well free swat, actually buying the president Nakotum that our bomber and a kada. And Chiman can be the city. There is never shortage of money in Ghana. There's rather always shortage of trust. But
that is information from the presidency.
So from the economic point of view, as an economist, there is always money in the country. There's always money. Let me give you a practical example. About a year ago, I buy a treasury bill market, no flow to a treasury bill. People were not willing to come out and buy it. Just about 3 months, and this year, you take it over mantles of power. No? Abra and this year buying core treasury market for the very first time is oversubscribed. So what does it tell you?
It means it's cover.
It means that there's always money. But what is lacking is always shortage of trust. So the point you the young fan come now say kipu. Another example. Young fan say obi a businessman a wa born a brave a business. Omu obi ada ontwi obi anida. And about could be so dear, what book no ako jail about no best a business. She attacks a war citizen for Sika Comedy Premier Noir. One I do Sika the man.
I see.
And in every economy, there is from the economic perspective or in a financial economy analysis, there is never shortage of money in the country. There's rather shortage of trust. When there's deficiency of trust, money goes into hiding. But when the confidence in the government sector is bouncing back now, Obia for the Sika or the corporate treasury bill. It is from the economic standpoint. Sika de do or manum. Sika waha. But the amount focus, oh, yeah, who see a Hunusono, not as a GD or Muama bino attack.
It also say and consider no 6 March and Koswa Fibiasa. And
Koswa Fibianam, yeah. Yenye legacy project, Nanyan Sanda Hose. Abra NDC Abendi Ba, 6 March, no, your man says he can't know Funambo, or what is the Kakitu in no more, Bono is normal call, yeah, Bono is, they pick on this project as a legacy project.
I see.
Because when you mean, Mammy Kasaman show, we, the NDC, must be extra strategic so that Sandy Maya, you're gonna for real symptom. Don't forget to say, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama the car said Ghanaians have a short memory, but on one kind. And you know,
yeah, on one kind.
It is to me, on party executive instrument. Na enquire say a discretionary power say on number and on pay the seat match say there should be an executive instrument from the presidency stating say every year be a con 6 March na ye bi no sa pop and pageant ni ti kase ye na hia na mom ti kan ke be budget say de be ye sa 6 March no yen from about 90% in coin legacy project in the deprived community, and I can tell you say ND security sana mo we ya I'm a Ghana for who said between NDC and MPP, there's a far difference.
Thank you very much. So now, on the B.O.T scandal, looking at the money involved, now a dino person at Daniel then it tells you, say, Skabia baby.
Settles me, I don't see it to be a scandal. It's an abuse of office.
Abuse of office?
Of office. It's not just a scandal.
But $11.1 million just for furniture.
My elevated discussion is say, it's simply abuse of office. And let me explain to you. The Patriotism say, "I am terrible." Be say, "I did the coup of Bakwasi Afachemi." Patriotism is a baby that.
Yeah.
Ha. At year 4 8 year, I want to simply to show me Pamato way a Casabibo. Yana nanum say, "I did the coup of Bakwasi." Nti enuntina. Oko baby na say once na omo te wo ho na omo di a once na timi di wo sa na watwa no wu eti abra governor ne mpanimfo atwa mu no hu say oh Ghana sika ta ho. Number 1, the first estimate omo ye na $122 million, true or false?
True.
No, it was 81 and I call 126 and about 180 something and I call 222 and about 261. And you say, who say, a buy project Ben Kwana to say Camilo can Kobe. Project Baku cost to be brave. Project Baku citizen cost to be brave. On the beginning, 81,
92.3,
at a point 122, at a point 180 something, at a point 222, at a point 261, at a point $250 million. Which I will say is simply an element of abuse of an office. For me as an economist, I will not call it a scandal, but rather I will call it an abuse of officer. I was saying, number 1, my recommendation there should be an internal forensic audit to thoroughly and comprehensively audit every little expenditure in the project. And this must be done thoroughly. Because master, me ninka, me B.O.T amigina he. Say Ghana buy money $150 million. Make my project paper chance adi ama Ghana buy. Say me Ghana buy. Emma is $150 million. Say B.O.T. Jessica we ya. Say then yesterday West Ridge on Bank of Ghana head office no. Me share Ghana for but say I can do even superior building more than that. Look, citizen, Mamin Kansen Wena, Office of Government Machinery, Presidency, DNI, Yoko, Yen, when we willfully misapply public funds, now I am Parisia Manfua, it becomes a motivation for future embezzlement. Mumami Mr. MPP Abaya Kemni or Mopen for say, Sanka $261 million Yamuboton Sika. In commodity basis, I done it to our Mabusha for. Let's ask Addison a simple question. Say, Sikasamun to Kiemuno. Senkono, Dr. Addison, a gone governor of Bank of Ghana, where Kemuno. Senko, you no understand in Tifre, and Okodi Pacobo Bosnia. And yet, this says Sika way man, no one. Or Shenyan Kupo and me, a sorry, or Konyami or soon, and him say. So, or being so soon, Yamipa, and almost someone Cremo, and almost some Bosoma. Would they use $261 million to construct that project in the name of Bank of Ghana new headquarters? The answer is a big no. And the citizen, the next follow-up question is, why would they then do that to Ghanaians? And let me, my main country will be B.O.T and the discussion say, I read the Abemum penny for ever for agreement in the Koti Kwanso. I say, my new Tikano, it creates poverty for the masses. May I just say your book will be actually the conspiracy of the rich.
Yes.
The conspiracy of the rich, written by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, Kiyosaki can say, politicians always want to use a strict mechanism to empower themselves and impoverish the many. And the governor, Mommy and Kano Kremi say, who say, Sankasa Sika Wepa and Abushia Japadia Sika. Will he ever commit such huge gangantua money into just constructing just an edifice? And in fact, share US, UK, Europe, anybody a cocoa bobosiano. So I'm not no share 10 years will become a laughing stock to them. And now I can say no. Ghana Bank is at the intensive care unit in the hands of the IMF. And you spend a whooping $261 million to construct a Bank of Ghana head office. I mean, America say, so Ghana Bank $150 million. I can do better for the country. Now you see, in proceeding the argument, you're afraid to give value for money and cost benefit analysis.
Sure.
Obi elementary economist, you're afraid to be scale of preference. Now, scale of preference, so your mind now, you must draw your scale and your preference and make a choice out of it. And when you draw a scale of preference, something must become an opportunity cost. And when something becomes an opportunity, it means that an opportunity that becomes a cost.
FM 92.3.
Now, so your mind, I will say IMF for what about $3 billion? Who to say the dama? Domestic debt exchange, minimal. External debt exchange, to mean your inflation is at the rooftop. Unemployment rate is all-time high. Exchange rate is worse. Now, in the face of all these negative macroeconomic indicators, so over saying and coupon also nanim, allow some nanim, any I committed $261 million. And you see building a $1 million bet to Messia. I bet to differ to one where you are head.
I say, you're Bernard Odro, Techi, opening because of time. Ivan.
Yeah, I think Ghana at 68. Yeah. The expectations of Ghanaians, I was wrong. Because Nancy and Yakotuaba and a change of government, Abba. And with the change of government, expectations, our order that because we had baby Ghana in the last 8 years. There are a lot of people who lose hope. Yeah, democracy na makachiro say na baby na drew na Ghana fortune baby na omodomonsa agu omobo watching the whole governance from a distance. As you said, they were not even part of it because of quite fast work. You who the economic friends said desperation, hopelessness, and na the card that Ghana Nibiana mana ikurano opportunities for young people in terms of job, na whole lot. So with the change of government, that came with certain renewed hopes. Maybe the way we do things, was really going to be different, and independence is by a day a sober reflection. Said the team is it kind of because me over the years, I don't believe in the day. Yes, celebrate year G. After all, what are we celebrating? Because as a country, the day of your declaration somewhere 68 years ago, Ghana was the beacon of hope on the radar of democracy in the sub-region, the first country in the sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence. Certain catalyst. Inspire other countries within a period of 10 years, and about 31 countries almost 1 year independence. Independence, we were seeking, fighting for that particular independence to be able to say, take charge of our own affairs, manage our own resources, and make sure, say, Nipa omo krom ha no nso no betimi adiye ewa brabom na enkwaya se obi na ekwatena baabi and obe determine your fate in yasefo amayen. So na aniji wo ho is the reason why you saw the sacrifices that people made at the time, because independence march 28 February, you who soldier for Mukoko through the independence struggle. A lot of people lose their life, and for people to make such sacrifice, actually, say what they were fighting for, but unfortunately, that independence in the last 8 years, has proven maybe another person and the declaration by Kwame Nkrumah said the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. And we can debate that subject. We have sufficiently proven that we are incapable of managing our own affairs. Because in the last 68 years, we have economic mismanagement, greed, poor decision, silly decisions, and some of these reckless fiscal management are also clearly say we are incapable. Independence Day celebration over the years, overshare at the regional level, national level, district level, and the budget here over the years need to celebrate that particular day. What's national one of the or my unions our because this is a country a man for nipa that's an in them and so somewhere one person boarding. You will cry young people are full of potentials as coming all the way from the north. Because there is no future. Opportunities be any. Such a country cannot be spending a fortune except may celebrate independence. And the amount of money that are always involved in some of these celebrations, is very outrageous. Ghana for being very much aware of independence celebration. Ghana 50. Your friend is saying Tarzan non-pencil scandal. I course will chroma the amount of money you blow in the name of being 50 years. Now because 50 years, dear Ben, I can't say you're proud of as a country. That was absolutely nothing. So I may take a very key inspiration from President Mahama when he says at this time around, he's going to slash down those excessive celebrations and as if for Sebi.
But that's kind of anyone. I said that was the thinking. Say, why should we go and waste money?
No, you see, the priority is key.
We want to know.
Yes,
what was the priority? Was it said this kind of anyone?
Oh, sir, a bank has obenya sikan ko benya.
Okay,
but nyansa bi anim. So I think that in terms of priority, because he assured the people of this country, say he will get his priorities right. Because being there as president, they coming back, he's not coming to experiment. He has been there before. So the mistakes of the past, cannot define the future we are heading towards. So I think that and then our shaping is it is possible we can do it. So it's not as if that we cannot lay hands on money. For instance, said the Bia Independence Square na man 40 ponkoso na ye ko buy and when we are we're going to spend over 20 million Ghana cedis in a day.
20 million Ghana cedis.
20 million Ghana cedis. But with this thing that happened at the forecourt, what spend there 1.5. So Sikana na ye market for Independence Day celebration here in Accra, 95% was saved.
But in any way, have you also sought to find out from the people the mood of Ghanaians yesterday?
In terms of the appreciating what they have,
where people are saying, say that is some argument. Say that sense of patriotism wasn't there. So if we are not, we usually get on that very day, a new nationalism.
Yeah, it's true. It's gone.
And do you think, say, should that be the best way to go as a country?
No. You see, Anameka said, we see this whole thing. It doesn't just happen. That sense of nationalism and patriotism consistently is diminishing, is going away, and it is being replaced by excessive partisan politics. And the reason is quite simple. In the recent years, Yahudi are coso in the political arena. Some of the decisions are coso and factor the average and the ordinary Ghanaian.
But can we Independence Day, Ivan? Independence Day, the no. Said Neya Fofida, and that is what Ghanaians want to see. That nationalism.
That
spirit of patriotism.
Yes, it will not come when people leading you are leading reckless, irresponsible life. When they have demonstrated clearly, say, they don't even care. For people to show that sense of patriotism, leadership must first demonstrate that particular thing. What I say? Now, within a short period, our politics in be a minister, what to talk down best time or Trasako, what nationalism being, or no average Ghanaian teacher in uncle sacrifice. No. Leadership must lead the way. So leaders must begin to show that sense of nationalism and patriotism that will inspire and engender that confidence in a man for, and people will follow suit. Now, Obi, a teacher, suddenly he's a politician. car on dream that's all beto mu no order a dine own damn unit that's all beto all of a sudden how he got that money ebi a one and one classmate one and that's here. Do you think you sacrifice? Nobody will do. In recent time things that has happened and no can be, and for us to inspire that sense of nationalism, no, must begin from the top. People must live it, people must demonstrate it. For a man for say a man for who become a this whole Independence Day, all that we have to do is say do that day now. We need to reawaken that sense by making sure say every Ghanaian beer will have access to a Ghanaian flag. Just wave it, give it to drivers, give it to a man for faster and what dying, so that will stimulate that nationalism and that sense of patriotism rather than we march past the end of the day. The question to ask yourself is say, if we are celebrating, what at all are we celebrating? Is it the desperation? Is it the hopelessness? Is it the unemployment? What are we celebrating? Is it the fact that at the end of the year, no, what are we really celebrating as a country? There is no hope for a man for Yesuku Sama say social system and Yajuma Emra Kroma say even rent you cannot even charge more than a year, but they charge 2 years. Who is responsible? What are we celebrating? There is absolutely nothing to celebrate. Yansa sene Niama environment boy hobaino and a galam say ahimfunetu and the politicians and other big people. What are we celebrating? And there are the very people who at any point in time can make sure that these laws and NASA for a work. So you cannot demand your friends equity from Obi when one casano win your wife obey baby. So I think that sense of nationalism must begin at the top with this modesty approach. President Asha says and cut it down. It's not just end there. The lifestyle, government spending, everything must reflect the state of affairs at Ghana for whom na ya may say yenye 2 million yet man for console. That is the kind of mentality created that divide between the people and the government. It got to a point in time Akufo-Addo and his people were sitting somewhere, Ghanaians were somewhere, watching them from a distance. People wanted them to fail because they have demonstrated say omunye ready to listen to Obia and aban bia no ya poor Mahama obetimi ayama na ye. You need the collective mind of the people. You get along because in any country, we are the more mind to grow the workforce. Workforce means politicians. So So if whenever there is a disconnect, you know you are going to fail because they are going to work their asses to make sure say the infrastructure and everything of government, the machinery of government, will heal to development. And then when those people disconnect, now what was our power? We be living in power, enjoy, steal all the monies in the world, but the country will not move on. It's the reason why we are here today.
So, would you want government to show that commitment? Say, okay, henceforth, send your head, I fear a die enemy. I don't want us to celebrate anything. All that we have to do is make sure that Ghana flag no be access to. It should be a national flag waving day. It's simple as that. The president can address the nation. All that he has to do is to address the nation. Let every Ghanaian driver be access to Ghana flag. Wave it. Just let awaken your home. We don't even need to spend a kobo because we know you celebrate when it's worth it. Yes, we can say yes, your transition has always been successful because in the sub-region, we've gone into series of elections. Your transition, there has been a tranquil environment. These are things we can celebrate, fine. But the thing is, to what end? The economic situation, the desperation, everything. And Ghana na ya can't want no. Don't forget to say, you declare bankrupt too. I seek a cry, it means a debt in the next days we are committed to paying over 250 billion in debt servicing and amortization alone in the next 4 years. The next 4 years?
Yes, 250 billion in debt servicing and amortization. So this is in Yama. So if we are celebrating, what at all are we celebrating? So I think this sense of nationalism to inspire it, first government need to lead the way. Again, make sure people do some of these things. Now may I say yes, celebrate it. Yes, we can remind ourselves because history is very, very important because yes, it's the answer na behu baby a corner. You need to know where we are coming from. And may share the energy, the enthusiasm Kwame Nkrumah and others sacrificed for independence. Now they thought we're going to channel a new path. For instance, the last time I catch Alaska program we said, do you know why your friends say people like judges, parliamentarians, those kind of way, a lot of incentive. Do you know why? Because during the colonial period, you know, say Charles McCarthy, our governor on Basman, so on free UK, Emra Ghana, on Obana, a risk journey no take because Africa no about malaria betimi kuno. Nipa no more grants no betimi akokaso akwachina kuno. So they will pay you risk allowance, pay you your salary, make sure that they provide you security, cook, bed allowance, entertainment allowance because of free UK number. So they need to make sure that he's comfortable to be able to survive in this colony. Owukrana, the incentives no are enough. Have we abandoned those incentives?
No.
Black man and what you say or no about the on yanka say you microphone a year so no SIC boss no salary babon thing. So we but I have friends who are medical doctors. They take 12,000, a bit take 13,000. One CEO is taking 70,000. Allowances are ojeka hono. As you change, compare a lot of medical doctors. You understand?
Well, so Ivan, on the same issue, now you share the team for the celebration.
Yeah.
Behind my say to reflect, to review, and to reset. What are we to reflect on?
Yes.
And what are we to review?
Yeah, I think.
And how do we reset the country?
Yes, it's good to reflect, and I think that you see, at any point in time in life, you need to pause, 92.3, take a critical review. So the review will be the massive failure staring at us. The energy in Nkrumah and the other people committed into this whole independence. What has become this independence? About governance and about self-serving counter. Those who are able to enter into the room will come out with their belly full. Majority of the people cannot get into the counter. They are out there hungry. You understand? And how do we make sure that we change the narrative? So it is time for us to pause. Now you review the past. Why you have to your Nema and Nema as a country? Because President Mahama said he want to reset. Reset means that you are building a new line of governance leadership altogether. But so the past mistake, must be identified. We need to know where we are coming from. Say by the next line, young conquer repeating the same thing. So it is important to reflect. So reflecting on our past mistakes, reflecting on our potential as a country. Because when it comes to potential, I can tell you, we have a lot. If you go to most of the European countries, the potentials we Ghanaian people have, they don't even have half of it. For instance, if you go to Europe, how many of the countries and the one natural resource like gold, oil, diamond, how many of them do have? When it comes to human resources, that's the most essential. A sign will be, we have the most youthful population on the continent. So all this potential, you ask yourself, how do you tap in? Leverage for economic success. So reflecting, I think that these are some of the things that we need to reflect. Do we even pay much attention to people with potential? How do we value them? But they're the very people we can use as tools and as an incentive for our economy now grow. So it is very, very important. So you see, building new line of leadership, governance, and as for now, we pause, we reflect. Say by our past mistake, especially the last 8 years, the mistake that we've done, and easy. So we cannot wake up the next 4 years and be saying that Niamana Akufo-Addo is the same thing happening in this government. Then what is the essence of changing? So so I think that this time round, pausing, reflecting, and resetting is very, very important. And resetting must incorporate the minds of everybody, irrespective of Ghana Nibe Biobia. Build Ghana. The last time we need to build a Ghana of our own design, Ghana of our own creation. This is our own country. And never say it's not possible. So I've had a couple of discussions with people out there who say, oh, Ghana, they're challenged to watch. Now, I say, countries
for 68 years, Ivan. And how can we just 24 years
we can start from somewhere. It's not going to be easy.
But saying some way every year that we celebrate our Independence Day, we hear sweet words.
Yes.
It's just or mine is gearing towards some prosperity. But at the long run, then the story appear the same.
Yes, that is why I've always been proposing that President Mahama need to show strong leadership. Because in as much
what do you mean by strong leadership?
Strong leadership in the sense every government be aside from within. He may be committed to doing things to ensure that the Ghanaian dream becomes successful. But ask yourself, the lieutenant and the many people who are pushing for position within the government, do they have the same priority as well? But there are a lot of people who want to come in just to fill their pocket because free say yeah, we've been in opposition for 8 years. Time has come. So you as a president, you need to demonstrate and tell people around you, say, the agenda is one, to fix this broken country. If you have any other mindset or alternative, then you should advise yourself. And you don't just say this, you demonstrate it by making sure, say, a man for mu go contrary, you punish them severely. That is why Akufo-Addo failed. When he told people, say, not my government. But I know the day his government became a fertile avenue for people to make money. The president at some point became impotent. He was the very person who was even clearing people who were involved in alleged cases of corruption and so forth. So leadership is very key. The president, the leader must demonstrate he's really ready and committed to some of these sweet words. Because you see, Ghanaians are not going to forgive him, considering the massive endorsement that was given to him. Because you see, and the President Mahama will not have an excuse because he has been there before. Yeah. Coming back, you have the opportunity to look at the mistake you've done in the past. And so far, and I think that if you look at the major decision that he's taken, they are quite okay. But we just into 3 months. Yes. So, and then the amount that hope say yes, he can achieve whatever he wants to achieve. Yeah, because I see, because we're just 3 months into yes, I see the decisiveness. But my character is a leadership, you need your friends a template to be a baby. It is an art. How about career and how you want to your friends pursue it. That is leadership. What as in this style be a there are a lot of theories on leadership about one thing. So it's up to you to tailor your leadership style to suit the situation. And why I'm confident that things will get better this time around, I see clarity. I see this, your friend is saying, I don't know, this directness and this, your friend say, unambiguity when you want to do certain things. You understand? You understand? For instance, cutting down ministers, very direct, precise. And there are several major decisions that you don't need on General Juana, you don't need to waste time because he has thought over it and most of the promises that he made in the first 120 days, I think that most of them, So if he's able to go this particular line, I'm sure, it's early days yet to make any prediction and assume. But with this start, I think we can assume and hope that because in building a country, there is one element you can never take away, that is hope. Hope sustains a country. So if you take element of hope from any country, now say it will be a bamboo and answer what you say, but the belief that things will get better, is the only thing that will stop and make us wait. So I think that the government need to do some of these things to sustain that particular thing. Sabia Ghana for Benya Hotoswo. Na enquire just mere return. Said we can some yatibebre where see the church runner ya candidate. But the commitment to walk the talk, that is what, and he as a president is aware. He is aware of the situation because in the last 8 years the average Ghanaian has become extremely enlightened. Kofi, it will interest you to know that Ukofia Mamia owns his school Damuda. In the last 4 years, 8 years, they've come to understand politics in the way of Krabashokeo. They understand the issues. They know where we are going. They understand because social media has brought in its wake a lot of information and they are consuming on daily basis. So there is no body or you're dumb or you're illiterate in terms of politics. Yeah, there are some who are there, but people are becoming increasingly weighty. We are president. You should know, sir, this whole governance thing is a public enterprise. People out there are watching you. So that alone should guide your step. Because if you mess up this time around, Ghanaians are never going to be forgiven. Especially when there are diverse platforms, people can go and express their opinion and so forth. So as a president, being aware of some of these things existing, and no crab I'm why what you need to do. So I'm sure, sir, President Mahama is aware, and the way a man all go the way he's going, I think we shall get there. It's too early to make any conclusion or absolute conclusion and so forth. And then also it's not just about him alone. It could be said the president will be committed, but what one and could be so beautiful. Oh, your neighbor so beautiful. Because I bind be a basama capture come from within. Go beyond the motive because politics, bring a lot of people from different places, people with different cultural, educational orientation and background and so forth. Beyond the motive and so forth. So what generous what you mind obedience or baby we are obedience or baby but as a leader it me demonstrated that bravery now or demonstrate that he's really in charge, trust me, you'll be able to sway a lot of people with this negative mindset of, and your agenda, your vision will become the only thing standing.
So back to your issue. B.O.T scandal, just only 11 million Ghana cedis. 11.1 million. Bank of Ghana headquarters. Now, Oshe Sika, your committee into this particular construction as a building in Kutoa. Ivan, that baby say, and say, Tiwa, na Ghana, Yenisika, na a Wapayana say, a dang pa. Because Oshe Sika, every one. Anyesika ketwa enkunakeke 11.1 million
enti obika cho say yenim nyansa nisi di independence.
Oh,
I think so you should also understand it.
Why?
Because akwa say baby a wudu tibeto wunni baby a du tibeto na obi ache osika na wafra wona fofo se monko tana kempiski na monko gimoni nti mo ba gimoni the whole day no ba na sa mancho ha na oba beda. Nipa only vision, Nipa only plan. No? That is what you do, and that's exactly how we've been behaving in the past years. Because at the time of this idea of Bank of Ghana buy, at that time, no, not Ghana was in a serious economic predicament. We are aware, because officially Ghana declared bankrupt in 2022 when we officially wrote to our creditors, external ones, say, "Kale, yen to mean to At the time, no. We were using a fortune to pay for such a building. And at the same time, that same time, you know, Bank of Ghana was turning into a printing press. And I had the printer cash and I only daytime, you know. We ended up Bank of Ghana bought over 60 to 70 billion Ghana cedis.
2.3.
In the history of this country, I'm not sure a single state institution in a year bought such amount of that magnitude to that. I don't know, I'm yet to be educated on that. Over 70 billion and a Bank of Ghana and Quantina Hoboka. And a over that sorry no, na the building number started, you know, the amount they quoted. Ninikwana Nima Babedru ne. Now bisa say as a country at that time, Anna or mine as a by force, yaji a here for sika pension, sika ye debt restructuring by force because I buy any sika. At the end of Ghana, the Bank of Ghana, Tanaka say, make Kwakusi building and a priority at the time when we are forcing people to sacrifice at the time. But because building you see a honor amount for being more cat because until that building goes up, no, amount for sika become baby. Enti furniture, yabeye na said na ayarage sika no. Akonwa banya na abatana so you need to spend $11 million.
$11.1 million just for only furnitures.
And the dollars, you know, and madam for me for US by Ghana and now or catch them say oba Ghana no who this Toyota Land Cruisers brand new na aba mono no. Who several ones e kroma na e no nwanwa because US baby o no kra na betu abasa bosome. Now flashes are kind of back but Ghana has say every blessed day these guys are moving up and down. Yanso na da bia kwa abonten kwa selesis ka bebo bosia e de ba e okroma na business ka na e de den. So that is how we've been over the years. Asem our parliament asem ikoda di ana yes do to so nsemi ma werem fi the same parliament konwa na moteso mo kwa free China meboa e okroma be debate.
It's true.
So how to empower young people in this country say be ya ombetimi anye sa niema we ma ya to no sa nimde ne sa nyansa no eni ho because to no okrom ha na emfaso bi amaso ma no miniasa wokọ Asia, most of the emerging economies, some of the big countries like Indonesia, Taiwan, your friend is saying big Asian countries that are emerging, you know. Do you know say the backbone behind the economy, you know, has to do with furniture and those things kind of stuff or more exported to our thing. Vietnam, one of the major things they do, some of this furniture and as for they export to Europe. Turkey over the years, you know. Pononen as for I to
Turkey dolls.
So dear no bet me I say. So bisa say how are we retooling young people in those local industries? No, some of these things bet me produce. Come akonya ben on ben organ how you need to pay.
So it means it means our parliamentarians doesn't have the locus
exactly
to even question
had moral locus.
The moral locus.
Yes, legally they may have, but moral locus, you know.
The moral locus.
Yes.
To even question BOG for acquiring as a purchasing 11.1 million furnitures.
Yes.
Because mukra de mutu sukra na mukoto saying.
So you see, and I say, mine your team no, as will be a year pay. And it's the reason why Addison will have the audacity and the infantry to do what he did. At the time, and oh yes, I did. We don't forget the minority na NDC time no STG demonstration.
Yeah.
Okay, some hooligans.
Yes.
The guy insulted them and called them hooligans. Said they should know a better way of demonstrating. But this is parliament with an oversight responsibility, or where they can exercise over some of these institutions and even stop the building of that particular thing. But what happened? It could do another partisan politics. Now issues na kwakwada. And that guy had the full capacity to do these things. Now, I said we are by. I'm expecting say you have a proper audit into every single dollar that was pumped into that particular thing. Now you who say indeed. Say sikani bi fa baby also akoto ngonwa over 11.1 million dollars.
Tiaso was it committee 8.6 million into integrated electronic security systems. Back with you say ICC system and network infrastructure cost them $8.6 million. And then another integrated electronic security system cost almost $15.8 million.
No one said Sikano Mumbo. And you see, some of these security, your fans saying, we are installation, your Moki can once me. Kofi, my fee last 2 years. Now, your fans say, there is this China, your fans say, Russia guys, what they do is that they sell information online on those way. At some point in time, not Ghana Finance Ministry. Proper documents and as for were being sold on those platforms. So, the documentary is out there. Oko, your friend is saying one of the streaming platforms. I will show it to you. They were selling, your friend saying, intelligence, our Ghana Finance Ministry. And you go there, they will tell you, say, oh, we have all the security buying. So, they will get away with it because Kroma Kasa na Kasa. State institutions empowered to take some of these things, they will not. Because some of these things, you don't even need to go to parliament and argue over it. All you have to do to get a proper audit firm, I'll go into every single dollar that was used in this particular building. You'll be able, because there's a paper trail. Sure. There is a paper trail. You do comparison. I know, say, price is not OK2 for this, Is it standard across board? When you do these things, then you bring the report. When you are speaking, then we speak to fact. But some of these things, depending on where the person stands across the political divide, NDC, MPP, I don't know, the issue become a foolish case. We don't move anywhere. So people will continue from today going. Obisu Babi see a dying. No, so because there is no centralized system in this country that are the responsibility. Some of these things, some of these institutions and what they do. Because there is no reasonable basis for Bank of Ghana to, in the first place, overbuild that particular building at the time when Ghana was in crisis. Let alone some of these fanciful things they are mentioning in the forum. Nina Baba yet Ghana foka. Yet home. Now, besides, I'm for so bad, Ghana Quaconia Freeze and Nema Wim. Because I say, building near old. At this time now, I'm for near Jumania near my busy bazaar. You don't spend such a fortune. At the same time, don't forget, at the same time, we are also building cathedral. At the same time, no say Ghana ni tighten the belt, At the same time, we were building cathedral. So near man I matimum for that has never been the priority of those in power. It has always been agenda plan. Baby, I quite sika free. That is why I'm employing Ghanaians. They need to be very vigilant and get out of this excessive partisan politics. Governance at any point in time must serve the interests and the purposes of the people of this country. It must not be at the whims of some individual for the conveniences of those in power. Or no, they can easily have access. Because at any point in time, how is the government serving your interest? That should be the basic drive. Your politics, Kroma. But Anyasana, you continue to fight among ourselves in the manner we do. We are going to create a lot of strength for people, and they will capitalize on that particular strength and allow your division way to do some of these things. Because at the time, I'm not adding yes, I never way. They were the young Kroma. It was all over in the media, demonstrations, discussion, parliament. The guy was never perturbed because somebody was telling Charlie, do it, I've given you the green light. And I know the day nothing will happen. Here we are today. Parliament is asking questions. We don't even need those things. All that we need in this make sure a serious audit firm will go to Bank of Ghana, take all the documents, analyze it, and tell us, say, indeed, this amount of money, you're inflating it to this level. Say, then we know, say, somebody can be prosecuted.
Sure.
But the way we bandy these figures around, and so what? Because we've not proven, say, your friend saying, oh, we be and I say, you and I know, say, doesn't make sense. So what it means, you come, now you're proper auditor. We know how much was actually used in some of these enterprises, that we know how much was added. Then we can speak to proper fact in as a forum. But about this usual comic, we've been here before. So I'm not expecting that the next stage of your politics, we come back to the same square thing. The same thing, because we need to prove and show seriousness at this time round. It's not business as usual. A man for my committed crime against this particular country must not get away. Now, I mean, who led the national service or no about Kruma when you had the camera dinner, not just all turn the whole social media. Up to now, I'm not even sure whether she has been invited or not. What I say, when you do some of these things, you man for Abamubu, people, a man for Nyaji, they say, the commitment say they fight corruption is really real or not. Because the facts are available. In America, some of these scandals break it up, but the following day, the FBI will pick you up and make sure say you are interrogated. Do you know why they do that? When you create that vacuum, it creates a certain sense of unseriousness. Between the government and the people. But government, at no point in time must people lose confidence in government. So they do those things within short period just to sustain trust and confidence in the government. Say government is really doing this or doing that. But here we are. Our own people are also saying it is a witch hunting. Witch hunting, but when you're witch, we are hunting. We can only hunt witches. If you are not a witch, what you be able to handle? Kofi you will be able to handle. Yes. So we had a dear course on national service. Now a cartel at Tennessee for a period of 7 good years, inserting ghost names into pay road database. I pay almost every month. That alone should tell you the structural weakness. Me, I am not focusing on Sabayuana. I'm for more national. That is the narrow approach we always adopt. For instance, there was a time on a media morning show across some of the platforms. The focus was on 3 people now no more. I'm a catcher say you people don't know what you're talking about. Those people are a cartel. For them to operate successfully for 7 good years, it means there is a systemic weakness that they capitalize on that. Because national service, let's know what they know. Omo register no omo call grants ni na submit to parliament. Why do you think the law no my whole to submit to parliament? Oversight responsibility. So you cross check. Controller and accountant general doing payment you are not a zombie. You list the brow and go to yaka. You have a role to do oversight. So you see the institutions involved to sit there for 7 good years for this cartel to capitalize on the weakness in the system and be taking money for 7 good years, actually said the system is weak. And to me a leader, I'll rather focus on the systemic weakness in the system before I send a nipano crime about so. What has them no? But about what is Obiaka systemic weakness in one? What is Obiaka say?
Our focus is on the personality.
On the personality. Parliament.
But the systemic weakness.
Weakness no.
I don't know. Yeah, drink alcohol.
Obia drink alcohol. Mintis Obia cry, we are just an expert waiting radio. So Mintis Obia cry about so that.
It's all on the personality.
On the personality. Oh, young Kochi, we and you say. But don't forget the President Mahama pencil. Man, Crofobit Sika or national service. Because Omu the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, so they reverse.
They reverse. So for us to come back 7 years after, it means that there is a structural weakness in the system. People will continue to capitalize on that. How are we eliminating this systemic weakness? Nobody is talking about it. Oh, young Kwachi or one national security, I'm for address it to say, wait, nothing will come out of it. I think we need to sit down and make sure that governance and my culture say yantrungu eboso and yantrungu baby. There is no book we are question leadership, no governance. It's an art. How we adopt to approach and how you go about it. Now contextualizing within where you find yourself and make sure say it serve the interest of the people. China, for when they adopted your friends say your friends private capitalization. People thought it's never going to be possible, but they are reaping the dividends, and because China was the first country to experiment that particular thing. Okay, almost say communism, private capitalism, but then the dividend, the economic dividends of what we achieve, and it has become a model. Now other countries are also experimenting. You understand? So I think the narrow approach, and the DIT, we need to expand the horizon. But this linear way, a straight line. Governance level, no, we always think linear. But I think the time has come for us to expand our thinking. Now you're making sure that issues no bad.
Let me, my kind few of the messages now. We'll wrap up with a tidal wave. We call it a day. Mama Johnny and thank you, and all the platforms. Mama Johnny and also thank you very much. Say Mama Johnny and well, I 92.3 FM. Yes, simple so. Ajumedi yeso the media so the coffee so. Jumrei meeting Mama Alaska. The Dawn. Ivan Che Innocent or a researcher. And what they can say in a notch and come on, let me read a few of the messages. And I inquired him now. I'll say good afternoon. If I'm enjoying the show this afternoon, I'll say please ask Jane Mensah when shall we receive our 2024 election little allowance. It's 3 months now. Please, we need that allowance now from Tei and Saitama. Almost say my electoral commission 3 months in the Entionka. It will be say electoral commission or say the bank and over trial McCanty but one more and I say NDC beware. Some ECG officials are creating doomsday today between 11 a.m. and 12 noon. The light went off for 4 times. Why? We in a frank at a free south and I will say or say ECG for your home ye MPP for be a woman or create a problem no at the Mayan or say for 4 good times and then between 12 to 1 no not a light of 4 times or say it's uncalled for and yet until any year or say so can a couple others sit on a house chair in public or say sorry Alex God limit me because I know she was say criminal bomb sorry I can't read that or a former president and he deserves that due respect. I'll say happy birthday to Mansuro and never birthday happy birthday to you na I'll say we pip free dobro and someone I say good afternoon citizen. I am advocating that all true CPP family come together so that we can change the name Kotoka International Airport to Kwame Nkrumah International Airport. We should try as much as possible to go and plant a very big billboard with the inscription Kwame Nkrumah International Airport in front of the airport. How can we handle somebody who overthrew Kwame Nkrumah with the airport that he built? Greetings to Honorable Fred Agbenyo and Kofi Adams. And may also add the Abe Boom. A lot of messages here. Say, Kofi, I always enjoy Ivan Che. God bless him for us. And I join so at the Abba Kwesi and Nkoko or say Kofi. I'm enjoying your show all the way from Nkoko. Tell Ivan we need more of him in Ghana here. I say. Let's wrap up on a tidal wave. Now, pick up some few calls. Now, on this tidal wave, I'm Rami Hunsabampeni right after the ceremony Okoho, and we'll share the devastating level at which and Crawford War, Agavagini, Omomo Coastal Line, or Volta region, Omo go through Nona and Washe. Some part of Accra is also facing that same challenge. Now, who said in 2021, that is somewhere December 2021, the NPP government under the finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta then committed 10 million Ghana cedis, 10 million for a visibility study, which results in ever seen that, and here we are.
Citizen, I reho, but they did come. I'm more President Mahama, but so you see. They say, "Oh, town Kwadua no way in America. We a leader. We a leader. The most important thing, they say, I'm for who's a war for them.
Yeah.
enti or how to nipa na a so you need to be there. Because in America, quite recently, you but na a the following day, the president will fly there. You see, just to give people say, as a commander in chief, I'm
with you.
And that is what the leadership is about. That is why I consistently, not some of us were on TV. You couldn't president, even tweet a crown on Twitter. Uncle, Obasara, you distance yourself from the people. And that was a very busy day at the Jubilee House. Because now a Independence Day, President Mahama traveled from Anopakusi area, we are one tenacity. And I'll call that particular place, a day before no Cote d'Ivoire. And he has been running around because that is what leadership demands. Being there for the people. So my member Abaso said upon all his busy schedules, he took time to visit the people just to assure them, say, he is there for them. And this whole tie-dye website, you see, it's a problem that has been existing for quite a while. And Yahoo in several back accident I seen the last 8 years and so whenever we will expect to say certain lasting solution be remedy the situation. But never, like we said, a whooping 10 million was committed say feasibility study and intervention. Cause steady situation what to do. And yet we spend 10 million
4 years ago.
The report, as to because you don't do feasibility study and drop it when the amount involved is huge. But 10 million said nipa indeed a year feasibility study 1 year. And at that enclave, and when you could see signboard that you Kwabraneka for almost 4 to 7 good years. There is no cater port there. What I say? How I wasting resources and how government then demonstrates that he didn't even care about the people. Because Sanyama we are not a course way, but sorry. Now a piano dining as a phone. I was suspecting say government will come with the reallocation plan. You move the people away from that particular shore now. Because see, there is nothing you can do unless you undertake a certain massive way about cutting the sea off from the people. But until that, you need to move the people away and do a sea defense kind of intervention about stopping the sea from coming. But and now say yeti kroma ye sabi debia meka say unhu baby ya dweneko yanti kroma na kofi when there was the first time what say your friend dam be bagre dam ye bia be fanipa
ai bokin ache
afi bia ye bia man be fanipa o kroma say ndi meka say ye nim nyansa o se meboa
na say nti nka ye ka kwa palugu dam no
nekosi say
senka be so sansuo
yes because you see leadership every day be other sorry you're solving problems. That is all leadership is about. If you don't know, it's about solving problems. No problem, our creative. No problem, problem for others. So you don't allow problems to persist when you've been given all the resources, everything to deal with such situation. Yet to Kroma, every way be as way for be a dam. I mean, a funny power in the north. I feel be a kunipa, a catty road, as a for
destroy your
yes. And for that problem to exist,
and that also we've committed 12 million.
Yes, and don't forget that this year, Bagredam, Baba Fanipa, Kunipa.
Because Paulo good and your for cost 03034028 6203034029 I want to 92.3 simple so admit so yenia and numere was so guswa would team the citizen coffee so and pay and numere yan fa course kakra yes so yentie was so wadon chire e won koma and pay and numere ye die atina table mame na won se eden numere catch yourself open draw no ma ye dia han ene numere aya patina tet ho fa ba biara wa Ghana ha ka so patina tet enro ni bi anum obanya bi anum na bia akoye numere so yenda batampa na fe so K some roofing ope chance ope so bo dan so na wa bo ni ye na nyama koyi a K some for H K some roofing number 1 construction company we Ghana ha we are qualified carpenters with me abua installing roofing at the amount ever would die so metal roofing trusses ever I feel me a wooden installation and I feel roof leakages case some a dance kurano a do juma at the mount so cake some your roofing in your your card your MS your T-lock and our metal roof trusses in your your Medina and some pum area wa Araba J Junction wo ye ben Pentecost Church oni enkasa wo 0541 908 637 and that's 0249715908. K Sum Roofing. So we are number one. Good evening. Opening if I was free.
Champion citizen.
Champion Yahoza.
Citizen. And I'm sure Jumani de Opias Wire, the Jumanana Wire, no, Chimbianu, Saivan to Chiava Mami Wire. Na Dr. Pusombo and Nembani de in fact, and Yame Achen and the Papa no Yedi no Sebianto and one, and Yamisha no Papa. Na Josh Ama so your mama catch him say I was at Tobu Josh Ama, Memman baby. I said now, unim citizen. Mesra share and this baby citizen. Young many pebi young repetiku and from your home be and follow share. Well, Nipabia and walk around a take a galam safe. Muko na muko tu muko chini pebia. Mufo on court some request and then one for now. Abu no nusefi. It's a win in MPPD and the problem. One Chobia. Then Oma Bravo in one of course of the Chamabi. Yeah, entertaining Sadano. Sana Nekufabo, Super Tatan Yetin. Your mama brand was a soap, for example, for any of you. Citizen, Maka, Messi, Amambua, John Daman, Mamma, Babe Bunugana for Munyan Tobasu. Multimobuna, Mudu, Yakasa appointees be over your two no. Me, you organize for Pamuno. Yeah, entertaining Sabi Mutekemwa, citizen, yeah, they don't want to wait. Yahuza, Mina Mitway. No more, I should say, your mamma being more chance. Simple. Muja tuno wa uye ndi support bi obeti se hunu obeti yanka
and that's it anymore opening a first like I free
Moses from Kaswa Nyanyano
Moses Kaswa Nyanyano yetio anymore
this is Mitia innocent ho this is who say ade ba ko no say nipa uso nipa ma trust sana innocent kana nipa ma trust na wa hu trust na o de ma no wa hu adwuma na wo ye na I'm not about or so pay one some said them for I'm not about you. Say, who guys said MPP never power, Nakabami was 50 play more. Who guys in the never see them? MPP and our power. And the MPP no power now. Bamu NDC no call yes, I all this are born when no 50 play more. Over time, the audacity so that innocent can say, come on aside in the G, is it your mama, or man in the hole? First, I'm on one. They say no man in the hall, no make sure say, and I sorry them.
Mina say Kaswa Nyanyano for numero chicha muna opening march ma dream for us like free citizen Miyaba Mariam
you do Aquatia and Temodi
Aquatia Mariam numero tio
citizen now what to say
Adum mame
Yamen come home
amen
Yaminya will be a kuma sadi aman baby Alaska on Sinyame asking the Encano and Minya Bema, yeah, we see
Ivan
say innocent. Yamen can honey, Indiana, one Yaman, Nindia, share this in penny for Nara. Citizen, a man penny Mahama, the beer will be a Yamia Sinkan, Yadana say. Waba ya, 1 year, 3 months, Aquatia, Yanya, dear, Aquatia DC the camp, near any light. Also, Sia and Yankopon Adum, what my life, and now say fences see the fence now. I can't question any what we shall say. Well, better more than that, I might be for no on one penny. What they want to about my men, I may back a canoe. One of your trouble, man, one trouble, man. When we saw your man penny, were a jack, and I said, yes, I was. Then I mean, come who don't mean no Ghana, and find to my parents, and you say, Mamma, dear, or basically Ghana, and a Ghana, ye.
Mami nase minyoba akutiafo nyina so anyway ye chechia munyina yamfa just 2 more calls so that we can wrap up. Good evening. But you're from Soccer Free. Mm-hmm.
Ahoto FM 92.3.
Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
mo dia na katare di en kwetiri pa na ya no so no am bofo what is anu one pam wo page man mo that say
I mean and that's it kafra mama en fa we ntwa to na fe yanko. Good evening. Hello. Openi e frost ka se free. Hello. Move on chebe. Say network no. I be ho.
Hello.
What te benka?
So
Kasa na yanko.
I say penifo no this penifo for municipal. Na ne ekoso Ghana any parliament on no mu because Kufodo my who say ye was kazu now so akom die. Anti omuba na muti ska omuti ska na omudi ska no wie na President Mahama say or be review. One no be out who say obedi now adeboy one need to from now di o.
I say no be say e bushamo fancha me na ye fancy na yama era Ivan Che Innocent the researcher for and I do this for me na yen so yanko opening
a citizen. So I think that we have a nation to build. Babia Ghana according to in the last 8 years, you know, Ghana, the average Ghanaian cannot afford to go back into the woods anymore. And I think that the new leadership need to inspire hope and engender that sense of confidence. And that will bring back that sense of nationalism, patriotism, because I believe that Abain shall see lead the way, demonstrating real commitment to rebuilding this country, not resetting this country. Trust me, Ghanaians will come on board. But that is where distance, and I'm sure, say we are really committed to building a country with genuine, your friend is saying, commitment. We can build it because other countries. Some countries had it very tough. FM, even America, where of beer a dream to be there. No, if you read their history, trust me, it wasn't easy. Yes. So we can make it and make the Ghanaian dream possible. But the only way to do that, collectively, you better get involved in a particular vision, and that particular vision, is your friends say rooted in. Say you build the Ghana for us all, not for some few individuals, and that is the only way we can move on as a country.
Subscribe to channel no. Join to the comment section. Like na share jumadi no ma afoforo ensa enkabi.
Dedi kama Mahama PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.